Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Friday, October 19th. Happy Friday. Hope you're excited for the weekend. I have some news items here to cover with you guys. Definitely some positive news. Not too many items. It's been kind of quiet lately, but we had, of course, a flood of big news about Ripple over the past few days, as well as just over the past few weeks. Big news about Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, a lot of Wall Street firms getting into the crypto market. So really, we are very much in a holding pattern as we've been doing, right? Just holding and being patient because the market is, moving sideways, and really we are in the infrastructure phase where the big money, corporate giants, corporate Americans, so forth are waiting to get set up and get into this market. And of course, we had the big announcements, as I just mentioned. And one big item that's coming up is definitely the launch of Backed, which is scheduled for November. We don't have an actual date in November, but we have notice from the folks at Backed that November will be the timeline of launch. And we could possibly hear some more positive news from the SEC. We just heard about them launching their FinHub to handle ICO related questions. So that's a good sign, some progress being made. Hopefully we hear some additional clarifications and maybe some ETF news, which I think will certainly get the market going. But with all the facts that we're seeing and who's getting in the market, we just got to kick back and let it all get set up and let the wave of the bull run come along so we can make some money, guys. Now, I have some news on Ripple's xRapid here. The user, it looks like Curvy or something like that. This person found a hidden xRapid customer that has not been mentioned by Ripple, is not listed as one of their partners or clients on their website. I checked, and this is what's to come, guys. There's so many banks, because we've heard from Google, Ripple, that they have over 100 production clients signed. And of course, they have more partnerships than that. So we are going to see some interesting things coming up with Ripple. We got to be patient. We know of 3 that are going to roll out this quarter, Qualix, and you have Mercury FX and Catalyst Federal Credit Union. And they're going to roll out an xRapid. xRapid is live, but as I've spoken to you guys about, it takes time to do this. These companies can't just flip a switch. They're going to do soft launches and hard launches. It's going to take some time to get on board, but the main barrier of xRapid being live or not live has been crossed. It is live. It's now for those banks to roll out on it, and we know of 3 that's going to happen this quarter. And then Brad Garlinghouse said dozens next year. So dozens speaks to obviously more than 12, right? So and it could be 24 plus. Honestly, it could be much more than that. And the hidden xRapid customer is SADAD, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Those of you in the Middle East who are watching this video, correct me if I'm wrong. SADAD, the repayment, they're based in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And where has Ripple been? One of the regions Ripple's been very aggressive in the Middle East, guys, in United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia, and these different countries. We talked about the amount of money that moves out of Saudi Arabia. It's ridiculous. They're very oil rich, obviously. And as you can see, this was not announced publicly, guys, by Ripple, right? They've mentioned others who have trialed xRapid. So there are many others, I believe, given the amount of production contracts they have, that have been testing xRapid, and they're scheduled to go live with xRapid. So we got to be patient, but just imagine with all of these companies live, guys, it's going to be significant. So let me show you the proof of what I'm talking about here. So this user found a brochure which talks about SADAD and its payment capabilities and electronic payment system and all that, as you can see here, a kiosk and so forth. And then on the second page of this brochure here, it goes on to a section where, let me see, I want to make sure you guys can see this. It says ICIC bank remittances to India, instant transfer, 250 fils only. I think that's an abbreviation for something. UAE exchange international money transfer. Now listen to this: blockchain money transfer solutions, in parentheses, Ripple's xRapid. This is an official brochure from the company, branded with the link to the website and so forth. So, like I said, we did not hear about this at all from anywhere. Obviously, they have highlighted here in very fine writing in parentheses, right? So guys, big things are ahead. And remember, this is global. So you have your banks in the United States, in Europe, in the Middle East, in South America, and wherever else, guys. So keep holding, be patient. I see sometimes the comments, people are like, you've been saying be patient for a year. Well, yeah, I mean, no one can predict the future. No one here has a crystal ball. But we look at the facts and we can make educated guess. But no one can, excuse me, accurately predict, well, this is going to happen then and this, right? If I could do that, I would be a millionaire already. I'll be retired already. But like I said, as an investor, you look at the facts, you look at what movements are being made, what moves are being made, and you make an educated guess and you go from there. When I'm not pulling stuff out of the air here, making things up, I'm showing you actual proof. So in Saudi Arabia here, guys, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, this company will definitely be using xRapid. They're highlighting it in their brochure. So can't wait to see when they fully roll out, and as well as with the other customers. And once that volume kicks in, guys, with the amount of money being moved, we're going to see some interesting things happening with Ripple XRP on the crypto market list, guys. So definitely a major win here. Now, on to the second news, and this was actually something I touched on yesterday when I talked about the manipulation that was happening in the market, where a lot of hedge funds and companies, well, I shouldn't say companies, but a lot of the big money, they were leasing, what do you call it, these cryptocurrencies and then using it to short the market. So not actually buying it, but rather borrowing it in a sense. And one thing I missed, and C3 Nick, shout out to him, he highlighted this, that the one of the guys who's from Genesis Trading was on CNBC Fast Money talking about Bitcoin in the market and how Bitcoin's been a bit stable lately. And they showed a screenshot here of the asset composition and the amount of, as far as the volume here. And surprisingly, Bitcoin, well, I should say not surprisingly, Bitcoin is the highest at 62.6%. But what was definitely surprising is that Ripple XRP was at 17.8%, the second largest. You would think Ethereum and then Litecoin, right? Even Bitcoin Cash. But XRP is the second. Do they know something that's about to happen or come about? Possibly. There hasn't, when you have these big news about like your Fidelity and so forth and your TD Ameritrade and Wall Street, they don't mention Ripple XRP a lot. It's very on the low. All they talk about is Bitcoin, right? And then you might get to Ethereum. Bitcoin is always what they talk about. And of course they do, because that's the brand that the majority of people, even people who don't know about crypto and how it works and all that, they've heard about Bitcoin. So it is the way most people will enter the market. If they just do it on the fly, not taking time to research. And obviously Bitcoin is not going anywhere. I believe it's going to be around for a while. So and it's moving towards a store of value. So that's why it is the branded asset that they all speak about first. But it's very surprising, and these things are not done just on the off the cuff, right? There's a lot of data and planning and news and things that these guys look at. They're looking to make the most money. So I thought that's a very interesting call out here, guys. So the Genesis Trading CEO was on Fast Money talking about this, and it is very surprising that Ripple XRP is 17.8%, Litecoin 3.9, Ethereum 3.7, Bitcoin Cash 3.5, Ethereum Classic is surprisingly in there at 4.2, everything otherwise 4.7. Very interesting, guys. Very interesting. And then once again, because you hear more about Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin than you do about XRP from these type of guys. So just because they're not talking about it as much doesn't mean they're not making moves behind the scenes. And given that the way Ripple is headed as a real company, that's working with regulators is going to have some really big, the biggest utility out there of any crypto, the type of partnerships that they have, and they're going to disrupt a multi-trillion-dollar industry of cross-border payments. I think these guys, they know, but it will be one of the things that they're not going to push forward there, in the forefront because of the branding aspect. They're going to push Bitcoin, of course. That's what mainstream knows about. So this is a good indication and a very interesting insight into what's in their asset composition and the volume of the assets, right? Obviously holding more than Ethereum and Litecoin, which I'm personally surprised at, honestly. I'm very surprised. Now, personally, XRP is a big chunk of my portfolio, but to see this insight here from these guys. So keep holding on to your XRP, guys. Now on to the last news item here. And it is some news about money-laundering watchdog to set first cryptocurrency rules by June. This article is published today. So this is in Paris. The global watchdog for money laundering will set up its first rules on oversight of cryptocurrencies by June, a major step towards creating international standards for an asset currently subject to patchy regulations. So crypto is moving to a phase now where it's going to be reviewed by the people who are watchdogs for money laundering and all, any type of criminal money activity. And this is why I think I mentioned on yesterday's video, I personally stayed away from privacy coins because I'm telling you guys, globally, governments are going to clamp down on it. I like Monero, but I'm not going to hold it because I know they're going to go after it. And I think Dash is private as well. So something to keep in mind, if you're holding private privacy coins, you may want to reevaluate. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor, but anything that is going to be hidden and not transparent to a certain degree to the government, expect them to come after it very, very hard. So just something to keep in mind. So the Paris-based Financial Action Task Force said Friday jurisdictions worldwide will be required to license or regulate cryptocurrency exchanges, and some firms providing encrypted wallets to help stamp out the use of digital money for money laundering, terrorism, financing, or other crimes. Firms providing financial services for issuances of new cryptocurrencies, initial coin offerings, must also be subject to rules. So the regulations are coming, guys. Keep that in mind. It's going to be global. So something to keep in mind. That's why I'm so bullish as well on one of the reasons. A small reason on the list of bigger things why I'm so bullish on Ripple XRP is because fully transparent, already pre-mined, working with the government and regulators already, public faces to the company, abiding by the laws and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Where this crypto market is, why you see TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and so forth coming in the market, they want to move crypto to where stocks are. So think about that, right? How stocks evolve, all the rules, the regulations that are involved to make it mainstream so more money can come in. That is where we're headed. That's why I always tell you guys, don't have tunnel vision with just crypto. You need to understand the real world application, the money that's getting involved, the businesses, and the real world utility. Looking at a bunch of coins on a chart and speculating is only going to last so long. It has to mature and go to real world utility. What's your utility? What are you doing? Who's your partners? What's the adoption? Who you're working with. That's where we're headed. Like I said, they're going to move the crypto market towards establishing it like how the stock market is. So keep holding. I'm personally buying the dips where I can. You do your own research and make your own decisions. And like I said, I would be careful with these privacy coins because trust me, if anything the governments are going to clamp down on, it's that they can't see who's moving what money. They're going to clamp down on that. Let's see. Cryptocurrencies are digital tokens whose creators say they can be used by money without the backing of any country's central bank. Until now, their regulation has defied global coordination and led to a patchwork of differing approaches by national governments. So these guys are going to try to get governments to all come on board and set certain rules and regulations. So it's all happening, and this is where the people who are, Bitcoin maximalists and whatever, I think a lot of them are just frauds and saying that they want to get rid of banks and so forth. And like I always said, they keep their money in banks. They need to buy a house, they get a loan from a bank. They need to get a car, they get financing from a bank. And I don't see any of them storming the government headquarters or so forth to take over the government. And I've said it so many times, man. And this is where you got to think outside the box and think bigger. They think Bitcoin is somehow going to overthrow the government and banks when now you have massive whales and bankers who own a lot of Bitcoin. And if they want to tank the market and sell off, they can. So a lot of these people are just saying those things, but they don't actually believe them. They're not true believers. Because you go ask them where they're keeping their money right now. Like I said, if they need a loan, where are they going? And they're just like us. They're looking to make money, but some of them put up that smoke and mirrors thing because they have religious feelings or whatever, and Bitcoin's the best and this and whatever. But you're not going to overthrow the government and banks, guys. They have already got a hold of Bitcoin. If you don't see that, then you got your head stuck in the ground. They already own Bitcoin. They have millions in it. And if they wanted to tank the price of Bitcoin, they could sell off millions upon millions. We've seen this time and time again, right? And now they're going to use it to make money. They're going to speculate on it. They're going to, as you can see, we've got ETFs and things coming. Is that what Satoshi wanted to do? Nope. Anyway, guys, not too many news items. Keep holding. Let me just be clear. I'm not against Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin. I'm just against fake religious and hypocrisy sentiments and statements from these maximalists because of the things they say against like Ripple XRP and so forth. I hold Ripple XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, Proppy, Litecoin. I hold a variety of coins. Majority of my portfolio is Ripple XRP because I believe that has the most potential. But I just want to make sure that's clear because sometimes people think I'm against Bitcoin. I'm not. I'm actually against the hypocrites, Bitcoin maximalists who are out there spreading FUD and not seeing or don't want to see what's happening before them. Who's controlling Bitcoin and who has the majority of Bitcoin. Just because they have maybe 10 Bitcoin, they think there's something. No. These bankers got millions of dollars in Bitcoin. Just look at Peter Thiel and how much it's been said he's pumped millions, and even some of these big whales in Japan and so forth in China, they got a lot of Bitcoin. So if you guys like this video, thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Quick note, my interview with Tom McLeod of Omni has been pushed back. He had some timing issues, so I'm looking to do that next week, as well as Uphold. They advised me that they're focusing on the Money 2020 conference, so they've been super busy. So I think my interviews are going to probably be pushed back till next week, guys. So stay tuned. Just want to let you know, because I mentioned yesterday I was going to do the interview today with Tom and then publish the video this weekend, but that got pushed back. So, but stay tuned. Still in the works. And just we had to figure out some scheduling and so forth. So thank you guys for your support. Leave your comments below. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll talk to you all later.